Welcome on our Vue.js meetup, Vue.js Talks number 17. It's great to see so many familiar names and the new ones joining us today, so let's jump right in. So for today's scope, I'm just reminding you guys that at tmux we built open source tools for Vue developers. We have a VueStick UI for clean and flexible Vue 3 components, and VueStick admin that is a polished admin dashboard used by teams around the world. We also care about Vue ecosystem and contribute whenever we can, especially when we share in knowledge and helps community to grow. And Vue.js Talks is about the sharing practical experience, not just something abstract. We're learning from each other and staying curious about where the front-end development is heading. So in today's agenda combines two very different but equally relevant topics. Hands-on AI workflows for developers and a broad look at what changing the front end to move on to early 2026. For our first talk, we will have Dmitry Mamyrev, who will walk us through a very hands-on topic using Claude from the CLI, combined with the tmux. I hope I said it right, to build efficient real-world developer workflows. Our second talk will be by myself. I will give you a quick overview of what's new, what's changing in the front-end development as we head into early 2026. So let's move on. Dmitry Mamyrev. Dmitry is a full-stack developer. He's not only focused on the front-end development, but also diving deeply into engineering practices, productive workflows, and performance optimization. He focused not only on what to deliver, but how to deliver it in the right way. Hello, Dmitry, and yeah, welcome. I'm passing the mic to you.
Hello, guys. Okay, thanks for introductions. For those of you who are wondering if I'm topless, I'll answer that I'm not, just my t-shirt color. So from the Pavel description that says I'm a full stack developer, it's slightly news for me, but anyways. Our today's topic is AI workflows with tmux and Claude. To background this with something, I should tell probably that why this specific topic was picked, because nowadays AI tools are kind of conquering the world, and I believe those tools are actually useful in many various scenarios, and I think people should start to use this more and in efficient way. It's also important to mention that you can kind of use AI tools in various ways, right? We have browser windows, we have kind of integrated IDEs for development like Cursor or other ones, whatever they could be. And we have some plugins in like IDEs like VS Code and stuff. But I believe that the most efficient way to work with those tools actually is CLI tools. That's why I kind of decided to show what you can do with tmux and terminal in general. Even if you don't kind of use terminal too much and you develop in your IDE, I think this stuff going to be useful in some ways. Still, you have to run some servers, you have to run some tests, maybe you use Git console tools and something like that. That's why kind of I do believe this is important. And basically, that's it for the background. I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna show entire screen. So and I'm not going to return to this kind of browser tab with the meeting. So if something is going wrong and image does not match with what I'm saying, you can kind of tell me, please. So let's start. Here's our demo project that I'm going to kind of show you today. This presentation basically is the project that I've generated before this talk. It's actually two projects. We have basically two servers running at the moment. Terminal, one for front end, one for back end. Front end is just kind of slides, and it also has Vue for speaker for me, and Vue for kind of all other people who should kind of look. So we have kind of risky approach where we can kind of develop this talk presentation in real time. So let's talk about why kind of IDE approach with AI integrated tools doesn't work specifically for me. It's opinionated. It might be not true for you, but to me, AI IDEs feel too kind of overwhelming. When I work with code, I do like really to actually edit code, and that's it. I don't need a lot of plugins. I don't need notifications, updates. I don't need IDE trying to predict what I'm going to do next, auto-complete my code even before I try to do anything. So that's why I do prefer terminals. So as you saw, we have kind of two projects running at the moment in another terminal. And let's switch to backend project, which contains API for our slide. Here we basically have data with slides JSON. It's pretty simple. We have first and second slide. And as you can see, we can just edit something and see here in real time. So what is tmux and how it can help us to kind of manage multiple projects? We'll see this today. Let's start with, we don't know what's tmux yet, right? Let's start with Claude. We'll open Claude and we'll try to generate a third slide about tmux, right? So could you look at, oh my God, slides JSON will provide file context for this one and generate slide about tmux. What is it? And key features like session, window, and pane. Let's see what we're gonna receive. As I said, slightly risky approach, but we'll see what Claude can figure out. We'll allow everything for this session, and we'll go to, okay. Now we have 3 slides, and we can switch and see key features. It doesn't actually say what tmux is. We have real issues with displaying whole slide, but anyways, we can fix it in progress. At the moment, I'll tell you what's tmux actually. tmux is a terminal multiplexer. It's software that allows you to run multiple coding sessions and manage those, switch between those, and really useful for remote work, or if you just want to switch between different projects where session represents your project and all the windows that you open for this specific project. You can think about it as a window manager for terminal. So let's exit for now, and I'll show you some basic flow with tmux and how I would work with tmux. We'll create sessions for our front-end and back-end project. So we can list sessions, current session that I have with tmux. And as you can see, I have two sessions, one of which for my kind of work project. As you can see, it was started in August of last year. So it's long running session already. And let's create new session for backend project that we have. We can create it with new command, flag s, and we can name it whatever we want. I will name it backend, right? So as you can see, we have this navigation bar at the top at the moment with name of the session and window opened for this specific session. We have one window, and basically at the moment it doesn't do anything. So let's switch to presentation API project folder, and here we'll open just code editor for, I prefer Neovim, and we can open our kind of project files here and stuff. What also tmux allows you to do, it allows you to create as many windows as you want. So you can, with one keystroke, default command for creating new window in tmux is Control-B plus C to create, and basically you create another window. And now you can easily switch between two windows with another hotkey. Here we're gonna, we'll switch to this, and we'll close our, we'll close all our developer servers, and we'll run npm run dev inside of our tmux session, right? So now we have two windows, one running Neovim, another one running our development server. For convenience, tmux also has this functionality hotkey for renaming each window. So we can kind of name our windows whatever we want. And another window I'll create, I'll rename it into, I'll also switch into folders directory and rename it into something like Claude, right? We may want to create another window for something like Git, like lazy Git, for example, if you use, or just normal Git commands, you run something in your window. You can also create splits, horizontal or kind of vertical, depending on. And you can easily kind of switch between different, oops, not that. You can switch between those. So we have now running session with project, with all the necessary kind of windows you would open typically for your project, right? Maybe you're running some tests, maybe you're running whatever commands you need for your project. What can we now do? Now, what makes tmux so special? Why is it better than, for example, those tabs? What happens if your terminal, for example, crashes, or you need to update terminal from time to time? Some updates came and you kind of have to close it and reopen and stuff like that. You lose all of your kind of convenient layout that you spend some time setting up. But with tmux, it's not the case. I can kind of quit my terminal. I can reopen it. I can tmux attach, and it was backend. We can list sessions, right? Let's list first. We see that we still have those sessions running, and we can reopen our backend session, and here are all our windows, all at the same place. So that's why kind of tmux superior to just simple tabs or like other functionality that some modern terminals provide you to handle multiple windows. Or also what's important, we can kind of, let's close item, let's reopen it, right? Imagine my laptop actually is some remote server, and as many clients as you want can attach to the same tmux session. So I can reopen the same session from another terminal if I want to. It's especially helpful if you work with remote server. So, okay, now we have kind of running session, running project. We have we understand what are windows, what are panes, as you can see on the first. We should also run now a session for our front-end project, right? We have a session for backend project. We don't have for front-end. How do we do that? Let's actually create something slightly different. We'll run, we'll go to presenter. Second. We'll go to projects, slide presenter. We'll open Claude and we'll ask it to do something that you can also do with terminal. Nice stuff. Since tmux is simple shell command, right? We can create something to automate our process of creating sessions. So could you create shell script to run tmux session with windows where first gonna be Novim. Second should be the server running, and third should open LazyGit. Something like that. We can create such script, make it executable, and we'll try to run kind of our session for our front-end project, tmux session, with script. So each time you open some project for development, it will automatically create convenient layout for you. Let's see if it works. Are there any questions so far?
Yeah, we're enjoying kind of vibe coding today, right? A little bit.
Yeah. We are kind of like coding and see.
I'm scared that it uses 0 tokens at the moment.
I believe it shouldn't. I have not used any today, so we can kind of. I hope it will work.
I suppose in the meantime that tmux is also have a lot of capabilities to customize its usage, right?
Yeah, at the moment we can, what we can do, let's create a new window for the time being, and let's see. tmux has its own configuration, and kind of, if we go deep in that, I don't think it deserves kind of separate topic if you want to, but we can. I can show you kind of what I have for my configuration of tmux. Tmux. I don't see what I. Yes, tmux dot conf. So basically, yeah, it has some configuration. As you can see, you can bind this default control B to whatever you like. I remapped it to backtick, so it's kind of one keystroke, one key instead of control B. So it's easier to navigate. You can enable mouse to actually to be able to click on tabs. So what else? Basically, I did not configure it much. I configured status line for tmux. If you, let's go out and attach to our tmux backend session, right? You can see that this status line also, by default, it's going to be displayed to the bottom and stuff like that. It's not really much that I configured for that, but you can do kind of a variety of things actually. And our Claude, it looks like it's stuck. Okay, what I'll show you then at the moment, there is hotkey that allows you actually to go through all the windows and sessions that you can kind of. Oh, finally, something, you know. But anyway, let me show you this at the moment. You can actually kind of open all the sessions and all the windows. And as you can see, it will show you to the bottom, it will show you everything that opened for this session, for this specific project. And you can easily hit just one digit to navigate to some specific window of all the open session. For example, we can, but also we can manually kind of navigate and open any window in any session, which is also pretty convenient thing to do. Okay, it looks like our Claude codes made something. Let's allow him. Okay, we'll kind of detach from here and we'll exit this window. So looks like Claude created some script to dev session, and it requests our permissions to make it executable, and we'll see how it's going to work, if it's going to create convenient stuff for us. We'll ask him to we can ask it to put it into some bin folder and add it to our path, so we can kind of execute it from anywhere. Can you add a typical explosion from anywhere? Yes, something like that should be good enough to actually. So it requests our pass. We'll allow everything, and we'll see. Ideal. Nice. Slide depth. Okay, we will have slide depth. Let him finish, and we'll run the script to create a session for our front-end project. So okay, looks like it's done. Let's exit and see if it works. Let's source the RC file so we can kind of slide depth. Yes, looks like it works. Okay, awesome. So we are now created slide session with editor opened. In the second tab, we have this Vue server running, and insert tab, insert window, we have Git opened. So as you can see, what we can do, we can kind of create script easily for layout. Let's actually open the script and see what's going on here. Created some default session name, which can be passed probably as we should do some program for that to name a session with the project name probably. But at the moment, looks like we have 4 sessions running: backend, front end here, and it's good enough. We can now work on our slides and presentation, stuff like that. We at the moment have 3 slides, and now we can run some tasks easily for front end and back end, since sometimes you should kind of work on multiple projects, or like API and front end, or maybe you work on your pet project from time to time and you like to switch back and forth. So that's how tmux basically helps you to do so. And as you can see, you can easily script some convenience stuff for yourself with it. Let's try to actually kind of write code something else for our presentation. First thing I'd like to do probably is to fix this front-end slide. We should probably somehow space it better. Let's create new window for our front-end project. Let's rename it to something like Claude, right? And actually run Claude here. And we'll ask him to fix our slide for the project. Let's make sort of I'll make screenshot, and I'll go back to terminal. I'll provide screenshot. Look at the screenshot. There is not enough vertical space for slide content. Could you fix it? Let's see what we're going to get out of that. Claude noticed that we kind of watching it and recording.
We can actually even send that to Anthropic if it will make some stupid things there, right?
Yeah.
Ingredients.
It's kind of a weird situation where it's not software watching you, but you watching software. So okay, while it's running, we can also switch to our backend project, right? To Claude. Oh my God, what's going on here? Where are we? Okay, let's run Claude here for backend project, and we can kind of try to create probably some more slides about create another slide which will compare tmux to usual terminal tabs functionality. And just like that, go back to Frontend project and to Claude, and we'll see it's fixing something. It's trying to, at least. Outcome is unpredictable, but we'll see. If you fall into our kind of meetups, you should be able to see Alexander Opalik probably talk about how you can get the best quality of your kind of Claude, how to provide right context using all those Claude comments and Claude files. Something going on. Let's go back to backend and see if there are some results here. Looks like there are. And we can go to the project. We now have 4 slides with the same issue. Okay, regular terminal tabs. Lost when terminal closes. No session persistence. Can't split panes with tabs. You actually can. No remote attachment. Limited to single terminal window. No background processes after disconnect. So advantages of tmux sessions, they are persistent. As you saw, my session for my working project actually runs from August 2025. It's true. Detachable, yes. Panes, yes. Remote and multiple windows. Tabs plus session combined. it's all nice and cool, but we probably can't see everything yet for some reason. Let's see. Oop. What? Now we don't have working project anymore. It's sad. Oh, now we have. But did we fix anything? No, and I don't think it will be able to fix it himself, just out of what he does now. Okay, what we can also do. And that's probably going to be the end of our today, not the end. Okay, he decided that everything's fixed, right? Good. Okay. Another useful thing that you can sometimes do with Claude and tmux and stuff like that. Sometimes you do need to actually work with shared context for two projects. How we can do that? With Claude, you can actually you can open multiple folders like presentation API, and you can open projects, slide presenter. This way, you kind of can create a Claude instance that runs two project context together. And you can create it may be useful when somebody, for example, on the backend team changed something in APIs and you want to kind of adjust frontend for backend changes. And what does he do actually at the moment? Okay, now let's provide him another task. For example, if we'll open backend project, let's open some props, right? Presentations and slide. We have two API endpoints ID about ID slides, just ID default. What I would do, I would try to create some task that let's create task that will touch two projects actually. Could you tell what routes, what API endpoints do we have for backend project, right? So we can kind of we'll make something simple. We'll rename backend project endpoint, and we'll ask him to adjust frontend project also, so it uses new endpoint. That way we can we'll give task that will touch both projects simultaneously. And at the moment we have broken slides. I believe it's not possible to fix because Claude does not know like frontend does not know about backend size of slides, anything, and that's the problem that we might want to fix. He already went somewhere doing something extremely complicated. We should probably stop it. Okay, let's.
It's one more time proving that we still have a job, right?
Yeah, we will. At first, actually, oh, it's fixed. Or it's just different. What is it? We have now completely different look. We have now key features, which basically it looks decent. It looks decent. Okay. What I was going to tell that I was always kind of AI skeptic in terms of that I thought that Claude won't, or any other AI tools won't provide a good quality of the code. And this is not the case, actually. Claude provides the level of code of the developer who operates it, actually. And but still, there is another problem which I see often, and this is actually people problem. And people start to rely on AI tools too heavily, and that leads to unpredictable consequences for us all. It's also bad for kind of new generation of developers who come, because if I would put the same amount of time I'm trying to kind of teach the model to a person who would have another decent developer, I guess. But with the model, you will never receive that. But anyways, let's ask finally Claude to create one final slide to summarize this topic, right? So we can finish. And what I wanted to show you that sometimes terminal can provide you more functionality than some IDEs, and tmux is useful for that specific purpose. So takeaways, let's see. What do we get? Fail to load presentation. And no. No. We won't see anything because vibe coding will lead you to something like that. That's probably summary of the talk.
I hope not.
Yeah, as I said in the beginning, it's a risky approach. Let's see what actually it's generated right here. Key takeaways: Vite and Claude CLI. Persistent development environment keeps your coding session alive across disconnects and stuff like that. That's true, as I showed you. And yeah, use tmux, use Claude CLI, try to use it at least, because with the right, what I did not do today, for example, I did not create a Claude file, so it does no context. I did not provide context actually for the project at all. So if you do this, it actually good enough. And basically it changed the way I work with my project significantly. I rarely need to edit code manually nowadays, actually. From time to time it happens. It does not work good with architectural or composition tasks, but it's very good with implementations, actually. So that was probably it for Vite coding. If you have any questions related to tmux or something like that, let me know. I'll stop sharing probably. Any questions?
Well, yeah, I think we have a couple in the chat. The
Yeah.
first one I saw from David is, what is advantage of tmux over warp terminal?
I don't know what's warp terminal actually. If you'll tell me. let's Google it. Warp terminal. We can discuss. Agentic development environment. Okay, so it's basically a terminal with AI included, right? Is it right?
I hope so, but David would not not with us anymore. He
Oh,
left the meetup, but yeah, we can move this question to our further discussions on the next meetups easily. So I see a couple of others. One more was from David, and you can, I think, answer it without him there in the call. Curious why you are using Sonnet 4. Maybe that was actually the cause why it failed to finish the presentation in the right way. Just suggestion.
maybe. I kind of decided not to use all the tokens. So yeah, actually, these results are actually not represent actual kind of those projects where, again, they were generated like without Claude did not know anything about those. Actually, it generated it, but context was lost completely. So it doesn't work well without context. Yeah.
Yeah, and also the core must have a success with such tasks because it's not really complex things.
Yeah.
And other good examples that probably companies are pushing forward your best models, but the old ones became more dumb, let's say.
Maybe the case. Any question about tmux or something like that? Additional option.
I don't have any more questions, but I see a lot of comments from Alexander about the workflow itself. So I think
mono directly, put in front end and back end. You would put it directly, yeah, but it's not always the case. Like when you work with existing projects, right? When you already have some code base and somebody from backend team work independently from you, and you kind of, if you want to combine contexts for two projects, it's kind of the only way I know at the moment, at least. Since you can't kind of, I don't know if you can do this in IDE like Cursor. Can you open multiple projects at the same time and use the same context for two projects.
Not sure about the some of the IDEs, but WebStorm having this possibility to group your projects. So the terminal will work with multiple of them, I suppose. And it can also be the case
but
you can work.
Will Claude instance of the AI IDE will figure every file will be available for those projects?
That's a good question. I actually don't have any answer. I have to try that by myself.
Okay, that's it from me. I hope for somebody at least it was somehow useful.
Yeah, thanks, Dmitry. That was nice. I'm pretty sure I will try the tmux because I'm using terminal a lot in my daily workflow now. So yeah, that would be a great thing to improve the performance of any of us. Thanks again.
Thank you,
And
guys.
yeah, I think we can move forward. I will be the next one. You can know me as Pavel. I'm driving those meetups usually. So I'm a senior front-end developer, have 2 pets and a lot of pets projects, and I love video games, airsoft, and fishing. So stuff about me, and let me present a different thing I have for today. And first of all, I have to find it in many tabs I have, and probably I will not see it here for some reason. Okay, give me a sec, guys. I have to manage that in a different way. All right. And yeah, it should be there. So my topic is what's new in Frontend early 2026. So welcome to Frontend 2026, where we build tools and getting rewritten in Rust. TypeScript wants to go native, and CSS becoming smarter every month. And yes, jQuery 4 exists, so we're living in timeline. Let's start for the nice things. Number 1, quick update about Vue. Vue 3.6 is now beta, and the main headline is Vapor Mode. We were talking about the Vapor Mode many times, so I will just remind you what is a Vapor Mode. Normally, Vue renders UI using the virtual DOM, which is super flexible, but it also adds some runtime work, and we need to create a VDOM nodes, compare them, and then apply updates. With Vapor, Vue templates can be compiled into more direct DOM updates. In simple words, Vue does less work at runtime because it can update the real DOM elements more directly with less VDOM overhead. The big goal of here is better runtime performance and smaller overhead, especially in heavy UI scenarios. This is the most interesting for app like large list with hundreds of thousands of rows, dashboards that update often, and interactive tables where you constantly changing filters, sorting, or live values. So it's still beta, but it's very exciting direction for performance-focused Vue apps. You have to keep it in mind. Let's move on. Next one is also nice. It's already was updated Vite to 8, probably last December in 2025, but now it's in beta, and the main direction here is something called roll down, if you know what's that. So Vite server has always been insanely fast. That's basically a superpower, but the real pain for many teams is not dev mode, it's production builds. When you run Vite build, especially on big projects, the build time can become the bottleneck, even faster. It's faster than Webpack, but still. So Vite 8 is a big move to improve production build performance. And the key idea is roll down, which is basically Rust bundler, completely new Rust bundler direction. Rust tooling is often much faster, especially for heavy bundling tasks. So as I said in previous section, the goal is 2 things: faster production builds and a more unified pipeline, meaning fewer differences between how things behave in dev and in build. This is especially useful for CI build that takes from 8 to 15 minutes. If you work in huge monorepo or your production build is like the slowest part of all of your workflow. So basically, Vite is already fast. This update is focused to make it build time fast too. The next one is a Nuxt update and more about planning than hype. This is not like your app breaks tomorrow. The real pressure on long term is less fixes, less updates, and more risk if you stay too long on Nuxt 3. Nuxt 3 is approaching its planned to end of life window at the end of January 2026. And for new projects, Nuxt 4 is a default direction. So what should existing Nuxt 3 apps do? First of all, do not panic, but also do not ignore it. The best approach is to start migration plan now, even if you don't have a upgrade this week, because migration is always easier when the project is still clean. The biggest pain usually comes from old modules, abandoned dependencies, or custom SSR hacks that we usually have for some of them. So the message here is like upgrade before it's late, and you will save time and stress later. And if you want to have some help with migration, EpicMax can help with that. Next one, TypeScript, and the message here is TypeScript is going native. What does that mean? Today, TypeScript looks like TSC and the editor engine TSR run as JavaScript on Node.js. That works great, no doubts, but for big code bases, it can get slow. Type checking takes longer, CI gets heavier, and the editor can feel less responsive. Go native means Microsoft is moving the TypeScript compiler towards the native implementation, basically a compiled binary instead of Node.js plus JS runtime. The direction of TS7 is a native tool chain, and you can imagine TS6 as a bridge era, stable releases while they prepare for the big shift. The main reason is simple: speed and scalability, as always. The goal is faster type checking, faster builds, and better performance and huge monorepos for huge monorepos without changing how we write TypeScript. So, takeaway: TypeScript stays TypeScript. It just becomes much faster under the hood. Let's move forward. CSS section. CSS keeps getting stronger every year, and the trend is clear. Less JavaScript hacks, more native platform power. One of the coolest modern features here is scope. The idea is simple. Today, CSS is mostly global, so we often fight with BEM naming, specifically words or deep selectors like .card, .header, .title, and stuff like that. With the scope, you can say, those styles apply only inside this part of the DOM, and it looks clean, native way to scope styles. For example, inside that card, I can style button, but it won't affect buttons in other apps in other parts of the app. So it's like a component scoped CSS, but built into CSS itself. And it's not just about scope. CSS is adding more UI primitive and smarter, like container queries, hash selectors, CSS nesting, and even things like Vue transitions for smoother UI animations without heavy GS work. Overall, CSS becoming a real UI engine. We write less glue code, fewer hacks, and more clean, maintainable styling with the browser can do natively. Okay, let's move on. Next thing is also nice. It's a JavaScript highlight. Temporal API is finally appearing there. It's the modern replacement of date that can be pain in the some days. If you ever thought the new date, you know the pain. Word parsing, time zones, daylight saving jumps, and code that randomly breaks in edge cases. Temporal fixes the big problems. First, it's proper time zone support. You can work with the real zones like Europe, Warsaw, and do DST safe math without any hacks. Second, immutability. Temporal objects do not mutate like date sometimes does. Every operation returns a new value, so you avoid hidden side effects. The third one, clear types for different tasks, so code become more readable. You will have like plain date, plain time, only time, instant, which is exact moment in UTC, things like zoned, date time, as from the name, date time, day plus time plus zone. So finally, safer date arithmetic, like add 2 weeks or difference between days without any guessing. So fewer bugs, cleaner logic, and less dependency on the date libraries. Okay, the funny thing there, okay, jQuery 4 is officially released on January 17, 2026. It is the major jQuery version in almost 10 years. And it also hits 20 years anniversary moment from 2006 to 2026. So yeah, we are old now, officially. But honestly, this is a great news for legacy projects. If you are still live somewhere in the production, it just got a new heartbeat. Now it does include breaking changes, but most projects can upgrade with minimal edits, especially if you use the upgrade guide migrate approach. So what's changed in the modern direction? IE support dropped for IE 10 and older, finally saying goodbye to the ancient browsers. The source support ES modules, so it fits better into modern bundlers and tooling. A bunch of deprecated APIs were removed, like $theme, isArray, parse JSON, trusted types, CSP improvements, basically safer DOM injections behavior for stricter security setups. And even event behavior like focus blur ordering now follows the modern browser specs. So the joke is jQuery is ancient, yes, but also still evolving. New apps, probably not. Legacy apps, perfect upgrade, less risk, more modern compatibility. And I think this is the last thing from me for today. Let's make a quick recap. What we can actually do next week, not just talk about news. So do now, low risk, high value. First, keep your Vite updated, especially patch the minor version. Most Vite updates are stability, performance, and some DX wins. So stay in current, saves pain later. But I don't recommend to use Vite 8 or use it with safe Vite 8 on your projects in production. Second, if you're on a Nuxt tree, create a Nuxt migration branch already. Not a full rewrite, just a safe branch when you can test upgrades and see what breaks early. Third, clean your TypeScript types gradually. Don't refactor everything in one PR. Just improve types step by step while you touch files. It keeps the code base healthy for the future. And if you have time, try things in the sandbox. Test Vue Vapor mode. Check if your build speed improves with newer tooling. And try Temporal, of course, in the feature branch, especially if your app deals with dates, time zones, and scheduling a lot. So the goal is simple, guys. Stay updated, reduce risk, reduce migration risk, and experiment safely. And that's it from me for today. Thanks for listening. Do we have any questions in the chat? Does it work in people? Not sure what was that about. And yeah, I don't see any question there. So I hope you had a great time, and I hope you will come to our next meetup in the next month, number 18. Thanks for joining. Thanks for listening. And yeah, stay safe, guys. Bye-bye.